Stony Brook University.
In this video, I'll be showing you how to integrate external image files into your processing sketch. Once you've learned how to load an image into your sketch, you'll have the ability to manipulate or iterate changes over the image using the basic techniques covered earlier in the processing lectures. Processing has a built-in data type for storing images called pimage. With pimage, processing can display GIF, JPEG, TGA, and PNG images. Let's move over to the processing environment, and I'll show you how to get started working with images in processing. Okay, here we are in processing, and I've started a new sketch. And currently in the sketch, I have a few lines of comment, and those comments are just outlining the basics of how we're going to structure our code. So in this sketch, we're going to add a single image file, and that image file is called fractal.jpg, and I have that image right here. The first thing that we'll do is declare a pimage variable type. Then we'll load the image file from the hard drive in our setup code. Last, we'll draw the image to our screen using the draw code block. To get started, I'm going to create a new instance of the pimage variable type. I'll type pimage. And take note that both P and I are uppercase in pimage. And I'm going to call this fractal. Next, we can move on to loading the image file from our hard drive. But first, I'm going to recommend that at this point you save your sketch to create an actual folder on your hard drive for your sketch. So I'm going to do that at this time. I'm going to click File, Save As. I'm going to place it on my desktop. I'm going to call it Working with Images. Okay, so here's the file right here on my desktop, and that's where the project is located. Now, to import the fractal.jpg into our project data folder, the easiest way to do that is to click Sketch from the menu and then select Add File. From here, navigate to where your file is. Here's mine on the desktop. Select your file, preview it here, that looks good, then select Open. Confirmation down here that one file has been added to the sketch, and now if I double click this folder, I can see that there's now a data folder within, and the image file is within my data folder. Great, so now I'm ready to write my setup code to load the image into the system memory. So to make your setup code block, type void setup, open and close your parentheses, and I'm going to go ahead and add and close my curly braces as well. Then you can type the background size or the canvas size for your sketch. The canvas size for this is going to be 800 by 500 pixels. And I know that because I want the canvas to be the exact same size as my image, and this fractal.jpg image is 800 by 500 pixels. Next, I'm going to write the line of code that loads the image file to the memory. To do that, I'm simply going to declare the contents of the fractal variable that we created earlier. So I'm going to type fractal equals, and the contents of that will be a load image call. So I'll type load image using camel case, open my parentheses, and here you simply type the name of your image file in quotations. So for me, that's fractal.jpg. Close your quotations, close your parentheses, and close your line of code with a semicolon. So at this point, we are telling the sketch that we have an image variable type of fractal, and upon setup, to fill that fractal image with the actual image fractal.jpg. So moving on, we're going to write our draw code block, and this is going to draw the image to the screen. This one is going to be very simple. I'm simply going to type void draw, open and close my parentheses, open and close my curly brackets. And here I'm just going to type image. This is going to create a new image object. And then the arguments that the image object takes is the contents of the image, and that's going to be fractal. And then it's also wondering, where should we draw this image? And at this point, I'm going to draw the image right at the origin 0, 0. Now, I could close this off and run this line of code now, and let's take a look what happens. Great, it has loaded our image file to the canvas, and now because I set the canvas to the exact size as the image, it's filling the canvas with the contents of the image. That's great. But you can add 2 more arguments to the image object type in order to scale the image. If I wanted the image to appear at half the size, I could type in manually 400 and 250, and this will shrink the image to half its size. So these last 2 arguments allow you to manually set or scale the resolution of the image that you're working with. Let's see what that looks like. Excellent. So, this has been an overview of working with images in processing. In review, you must work with the p image to declare a new variable type. You must populate that variable type with an image on your hard drive, and then you can simply call upon that image and manipulate it just as you would any other object in processing. Take note that loading images in processing should always be done in the setup block of code. It's risky to load images in the draw block of code. You may run into slow performance or out-of-memory errors.